So this is the Land Accelerator, and want to welcome everybody here to our presentation today, which is going to be focusing on presenting some awesome pictures from 4 of our alumni from the 2019 cohort of the Land Accelerator. A little bit about this is we do have a question and answer box that you can use and a chat box. And if anybody's having trouble hearing us, raise your hand and let us know, or share that in the chat box in the Q&A box. We will have the, we say slides and recordings will be shared after. We'll be posting it on our website and sending around a link so that you guys can check out some of the slides from our entrepreneurs and experts who are here today. The Land Accelerator is a collaboration between World Resources Institute. We're also launching this year in India. So we've got a partner in India called Sangam Ventures. We want to have a shout out to them. And a lot of the Land Accelerator is being generously funded by the IKEA Foundation. So want to say thank you to a lot of our partners. We're all here today, probably because we know there's a problem around the world. Land degradation is a huge problem. We know that 1/3 of people around the world are affected by this. And that the cause of deforestation can often be agriculture activities, which causes 70% of current deforestation. But we also believe that conscious businesses can be a part of the solution. So that's why the Land Accelerator is created, to bring innovative solutions together, businesses that are doing that from around the world to improve the environmental situation and the economies globally. So the Land Accelerator, it helps to solve this problem of financing in the arena of restoration and conservation. There's a huge major finance gap. We help by identifying amazing companies, some of which you're going to see today. We work to build their capacity through customized curriculum and networking building activities such as this today. It is focused specifically on restoring land, and the benefits for people participating is that we have a small cohort of 15 people. You get to network with peers, mentors, and investors from around your region and around the world. We're helping with investment readiness, and our program is able to provide scholarships for travel to the areas where we are hosting Land Accelerators. This year, as in late 2020 and early 2021, we hope to be launching in-person programs in India, in New Delhi, and in Latin America and Mexico City, and continuing our program for Africa in Nairobi. This is a free program to participate in and no equity taken. So we hope that you will be able to join us. Here's a few of our mentors. And we currently have applications open for the Africa region, and we will be announcing our new cohort for South Asia in the coming days by June 1st. So that's what I've got for you now. The agenda for the rest of our webinar, now that we're all settled in, is we're going to hear from our panelists. We're going to hear from Sapna, then Maraya, and then Luni on some of the things that they've seen through their careers of working with entrepreneurs in the restoration and circular economy space. Then we're going to hear from 4 of our alumni. They're going to be pitching about what their companies are doing these days. And everybody will be hearing feedback as well. So we hope this is going to be really useful for everybody on the call to get exposed to what different kinds of business models there are in restoration economy, as well as for entrepreneurs to start to hear what can they do better about their own pitches and how could they take some of the lessons they'll learn today with them as we go on. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing. And I would like to introduce Sapna and have Sapna introduce herself and some of the learnings that she's want to share with us today. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Amanda. And thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. And hello, everyone. I'm excited that there's about 118 participants right now. Amanda, let me do a quick introduction of myself. My name is Sapna Shah. I'm a partner at a venture capital fund called Novastar Ventures. We're based in Nairobi, and we invest in East Africa as well as Nigeria and Ghana. We invest in early stage businesses and exceptional entrepreneurs that are solving huge problems and providing products and solutions to the mass market. We don't focus on a particular sector, but one of the companies that we have invested in is right up the Land Accelerator street, which is a company called Komaza in East Africa, in Kenya. I'll pause there. I think, Amanda, the sort of task for me was to talk to the panelists, talk to the attendees around what are some of the exciting things that I'm seeing entrepreneurs do. So the example I have is not specifically on companies that are restoring land, but a company in the agricultural sector. Does that work, Amanda?
Oh yes, I think there'll be lessons that we can all learn from that. Thank you.
Yeah, all right, fantastic. So the example I have is an entrepreneur in the Novastar portfolio, a company called iProcure that's based here in Kenya. And the sort of piece about the entrepreneur, Stefano, that is very exciting and that I think has been one of the keys to his success has been his ability to pivot, reiterate his business model, and really figure out what works in this space. I'm going to give you a little bit of an example of the journey that he's been through with iProcure. So the first is just, what is iProcure solving? iProcure is solving the inefficiencies of the supply chain in East Africa and effectively across Africa for smallholder farmers in distribution of inputs. So farmers end up paying 2 times for the real cost of inputs because of these inefficient supply chains. And in many cases, the inputs that they receive are not the right inputs for their land, and also could be bad quality because they are adulterated across the supply chain, across the supply chain. So Stefano started off iProcure thinking, right, what we're going to be able to do is connect field agents with the manufacturers of these products. And so build out a point of sale software for the field agents. They quickly learned that neither manufacturers or the field agents were willing to pay for this software. And really the manufacturers didn't have the ability to process and deliver these orders that were placed by agents. So they pivoted to a model where iProcure would employ the agents and also receive the orders, connect with the manufacturers, and then ship to an iProcure stock point. They quickly learned that that last mile distribution was too expensive for iProcure, and really the farmers didn't have the cash to pay for the purchases upfront. So they shifted their model to working with cooperatives. This is probably a year in. And the learning with cooperatives was that it solved the problem of the last mile. It meant that cooperatives were very good at aggregating the demand for large customers. They were also able to provide credit for the farmers. However, the margins were low because there was a revenue share with the cooperatives. So they effectively kept cooperatives, but expanded into working with processors. So these are companies that are purchasing from farmers. They're still acting as aggregators, but are not so interested in the revenue share because they're interested in making sure that the farmers have the right inputs to process the produce. Finally, the last pivot was saying, well, look, there is a way to get direct to farmer if we have our own depots, and then moving into agrovets as well by providing point of sale systems. So I think this is really an example around how the company has pivoted, listened to the customer, shifted their business model to get to where they are right now.
Yes, so what you like about the company is that they've always kept trying and interacting with their community to figure out how to make it work so that they can actually get money as well as change.
And not being stuck on the original idea. So having the humility to realize, okay, what we started off with, we're still solving the same problem, but the way that we thought we'd solve it is not the right way. Let's figure out the right way once we're actually in the market.
So I think that's a lesson of, you know, like persistence and keeping your mind open. And, you know, I think the more that you learn actually from being in the market, they would have never gotten there if they didn't start from the beginning and doing the hard work.
Exactly.
So that's very, very, very great. Good story. I think we can all take that to heart. And especially as coronavirus is coming at us today and throwing more and more challenges, there's probably different ways that are coming up for people to be doing business. I think we'll even see some of that in our presentations today. So shall we pass to Mariah at this time?
Yeah,
Looks
okay.
like she's coming. Okay, great.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Amanda, for having me. And it's a real pleasure to be here. I'm going to start to share my screen, if that works.
I'll let you know when we see it. Yes, we definitely see that. Yep.
Yeah. So this is me. It's a bit strange. It still feels like a staring competition, and it's kids' rush hour here. So I hope my kids won't be seen in the background. But my name is Marij Grasvoort. I'm with the Doen Foundation. We are based in Amsterdam. And we were founded by the Dutch charity lotteries 27 years ago. And Doen believes in a green, a socially inclusive and creative society. And we support impact entrepreneurs in a very early stage as well, like Safna. And we provide grants, loans and equity. So we also have an equity arm. And we support companies in the Netherlands, in India and East Africa. And we try to be catalytic. So we step in where others are still a little bit reluctant and feel like, let's see. And we hope others can come in later.
Well, excuse me, Mariah, could you make yours presentation view so that it fits the full screen?
Oh yeah, of course, you see all my other stuff here. Is this better?
Yes, perfect now.
Okay. So we do, within our green program, we have a circular entrepreneurship program, and we feel that the land restoration part fits in it because you always see like this butterfly of the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, and a lot of companies are focusing on the material side, but we feel there's this natural loop that you can close as well. And so there's the land restoration part coming in. We feel this is an important sub-program within our green program. So we asked WRI a couple of years back to do a kind of landscape mapping for us to see if there are entrepreneurs out there that would need our support and what is going on in the sector, and does it make sense for Doen to actually play a role in this sector as well. So one of the things that came out of this mapping was that we need to increase the number of entrepreneurs, and we can there's a lot of room to support the existing entrepreneurs, hence our support to the Land Accelerator in East Africa in 2019 and this year as well. I guess like the question from Amanda to me for today was a little bit more like an example of more on the pitching side. I have great examples on our portfolio companies, for example, so happy to dive into that as well, but I will stick to the maximum minutes that I have. So I thought the question was more on what is a great example of a great pitch of a land restoration company that you've seen, and why did it stood out or did it stick to me? And I guess like I couldn't choose, so I put in a lot of companies here. But the one that stood out was actually the company is called Greenpot, and the lady is called Cookie, and she's a former Land Accelerator participant, I think in the first one in East Africa. But it was actually during the Seed Stars Global Summit last year. And there were like, I think around 100 entrepreneurs pitching on stage in different sectors, so technology, healthcare, agricultural pitches, like all in the impact space. But she stood on that stage and she blew everyone away. And I guess like why it stuck to me was because of her great personality. She had a crystal clear message. She also explained a lot about her journey, how she got to that point that she was actually standing there on stage, and she had a clear ask at the end. So that to me was very impressive, I guess. The other example that I had was on a company in South Africa, and we've invested in it. It's called Grounded, and they sell honeybush tea. They work with farmers in a very special way, and they are using a kind of 4 returns model. So it's return on inspiration, it's return on a financial return, it's a return on a socially part, so the social return, and I forgot the fourth one. So it's of course return on nature, but I can send a link to that. So what I wanted to say for today is that you don't have to be a great pitcher to be a great entrepreneur. And I guess that's because a lot of entrepreneurs I met also during the Land Accelerator were a bit like, maybe I'm not the greatest pitcher, this is not my cup of tea. And I can imagine, because all the TEDx talks, they are prepped and they have coaches and things like that. And you, of course, you can learn and practice a lot, but I guess you can also be creative. So maybe asking your supplier to get on stage with you, or ask a client to actually talk about you, or show a little movie of a client saying something about you. I'm not sure. Or what I felt was, in my opinion, and I'm only a funder based in Amsterdam, and I'm receiving over like 300 applications each year. So the key element I wanted to share is that we don't have time to dive into this topic so much. And especially in this field of land restoration, it can take you like 10 minutes to actually explain your model, I guess, because it's always complex. There are no black and white, there's no like extreme simple children kind of way of explaining your business model, probably because it's so interlinked. But I hope these kind of elements can help you to create your perfect pitch. So for me, I guess the ones that stood out were like when people were making a joke, or an unexpected intro, or like strong personality on stage. The other thing was the experience kind of way. So this Grounded company in South Africa, they did some tea tasting afterwards, for example. So that is an interesting way of maybe get the attention of investors in the room. I feel like the honesty in the pitch and the why, so your journey, why are you standing here, why are you doing this, is very important. And to make it simple, so very small and tangible, but big in your vision at the same time. And then the other thing is like the impact. Sometimes I look at pitches and people are like not putting so much attention on the impact side of things. But then I guess like we are all impact investors in the room. I think that is, at least it deserves one slide and information on the impact side for me. And then I think it's really, really important to end your pitch with a kind of clear ask, because a lot of times you need so many things. So you're looking for network, you're looking for a supplier, you're looking for investors, maybe you're looking for new hires. But I guess like the great pitches I have seen, they ended with like one clear ask, and you can always like get in touch with the potential funders afterwards and say, hey, I also would like to speak to new suppliers or whatever. But to stick to just one ask to the audience that you're pitching to. So it's really my story for today.
I think that was fantastic. And one of the main things I definitely took away from that was that land restoration entrepreneurs definitely are working in complex communities with complex situations, and that making it simple, catchy, perhaps fun or very urgent is a really great way to catch everyone's attention. And then later on, you can tell them how you did it, you know? So yes, we can pass to Looney now. I see you've pulled up your slides. So thank you. You can go ahead.
You can either press space to unmute, or you can press space to move to the next slide, but not both. All right, so thanks for having me here. My name's Looney. I'm the founder of Fledge, which is a network of conscious company accelerators. And I'm actually an entrepreneur. So I started my first company back in 1992, and I count Fledge as number 6 and Realize Impact as number 7. I've been doing this a very long time. So my own company's for 20 years, and then Fledge is an accelerator to help other companies. It's in fact a network of accelerators, where the Land Accelerator is one of our partners. So I've been around the world helping entrepreneurs in 27 countries. There's the map of the world. Every place in orange, we have worked with a company there. To answer Amanda's question specifically, I don't want to call out any specific favorite from the Land Accelerator. That would not be fair. So I'll pull out one from another Fledge program. That one went to the EcoStar Nature Accelerator up in Italy 2-3 years ago. It is really, you know, the first 2 answers were spot on. We've seen across all these companies, many that have listened to the market and changed what their solution is without changing their problem. We've seen so many that could not get up on stage and tell a coherent story, and we fixed that. But this one company didn't have that problem. He knew exactly what to do at the beginning. He's an amazing orator, and he is exactly the type of person that no funder ever funds, despite that. I visited him last September when we did the Land Accelerator in Nairobi. I flew off to Western Kenya and then got driven into Eastern Uganda. This entrepreneur has a company, he has 2 companies, but he has a company that takes agricultural waste and turns it into briquettes for cooking fuel. So 2 for 1 here. And it's a company where it's not a traditional hierarchy. It's not the boss who's telling all these subordinates what to do. It's really a collection of 200 farmers who all collectively create the product. And then this one entrepreneur organizes them and does the sales. And so I'm standing there on his farm, walking along to another farm, his neighbor's farm. We're really just talking about neighbors doing this together. And I asked him, why you? Why did you start 2 companies? And yet we can see 50 farms around here. Why didn't they start one of the companies or both of the companies? And his answer was great. His answer was so simple. They all grew up seeing all the problems around them, right? Seeing the deforestation of their land, literally, seeing the wildlife disappear. And they just think everything's impossible. They think life just gets worse. Everything is just impossible to do. And he said, I've never been like that. When I see something that's hard, I just think if I try and do it, it'll happen. And so far, he has been correct. So with no funding, no outside funding, no help, he created 2 companies. Well, no outside help, but help of his community. He created 2 companies in rural Uganda. Each of them earns about $250,000 a year. So he's created $500,000 worth of value each year. They both run profitably, because otherwise they wouldn't run. And we were lucky to find him, and we're now the only investor in one, and soon to be the only investor in the other. I'll leave you with that. Let's see some pitches.
All right, let's see some pitches. Let me see. Who did I ask to go first today? Do you guys remember? I seriously don't have my list in front of me. Ezra, was it you? All right.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah.
Amanda, I have a challenge that I shared with you. My PC is not able to show the PowerPoint. Can you be able to show it through yours? Is it possible to share my PowerPoint?
Yes, give me 1 second. I'll do that for you. Hold on, it's opening up. It's opening up. And get that right to you in a second. Share screen. Share. All right, almost there. Are you seeing it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Just tell me when to hit the next slide. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, everyone. I'm happy to see Rooney. I'm happy to see Marije and the whole team after a while. Greetings from Uganda. I'm Ezra, co-founder of Tree Resource Enterprises, which is dealing in restoration inputs. We deal with farmers interested in agroforestry and also organizations that are also interested in agroforestry. We can move. Our vision is seeing millions of farmers that can be able to protect and also earn from the environment sustainably. We can move. We see we have over a billion people who are farmers global, but out of this, almost 70% of the farmers who are in Uganda are 70% of the population which is in Uganda are farmers, which is around 20 million, as we can see. Can you move? We see this is a sector that is employing many people in Uganda, over 70%, but we see it is at stake due to climate change. We see 90% of the 90,000 hectares of forest cover are lost annually in Uganda, as we can see, through agricultural activities, through timber, through seeking for energy. We can move. But there, we have opportunity in this, or we have where we can focus as Tree Resources focusing on non-wood forestry products by developing a value chain that farmers can be able to refocus to engage in non-wood forest products. As we see that most of the deforestation is occurring on smallholder farmers' land compared to government gazetted areas. So if farmers are able to be motivated to refocus on non-wood forestry products, we can be able to reduce forestry deforestation.
1 minute.
Sorry, yes.
It's 1 minute.
Okay, thank you. Our solution, as we can see, we are being able to, we are serving farmers and organizations which are dealing in the restoration. We can move. So we can move. We can move to another slide. We are serving NGOs, farmers, and government institutions, and those are our target market. And we ensure that we remain competitive by making sure that we work with the farmers directly in our outsourcing our products like tree seeds. We train farmers who work as our suppliers, and we are able to maintain quality in our product. We can move to the next slide. This is how has been our traction ever since 2018, when we commenced our activities. We have been growing steadily. As you see, even amidst COVID, we have been able to enter into many contracts. As we can move to the next slide, like Rotor. We can move to the next slide. These are ongoing projects with the Rotary Club in Soroti and Mbale, where they're piloting fruit orchards in the schools. Our achievements, we began few people, like 3, but now we have 5 permanent and 10 part-time staff We've been able to train 1,000 farmers, youth and women in tree seed collection and processing. Been also recognized as one of the best climate smart business by Churad. This is our team, Bernard, Christine, who have over 3 years experience working in nursery business and also agroforestry activities. Our ask is that $30,000 and the purpose to expand 2 more nursery outlets, establish a small processing plant for fruit products and train more farmers. As per now, today I just got email. There is one of the organizations that wants to supply seeds, but sometimes we get challenges as we may get orders, but we don't have the capacity to train more farmers that can be able to ask to meet the demand, especially from our organization that we work with. We can move.
I think
Yeah, I think I'll say thank you. Those are our contacts, and yeah, I think thank you very much, Amanda.
thank you all as well. At this point, do any of the panelists have any clarifying questions or feedback for Ezra? Let's see.
Yeah. I got a ton of feedback, but anyone else want to go first?
Ezra, I have a question.
Yes.
I want to just understand who is your customer that buys from you? Is it the farmer directly, or is it organizations that then give the tree seedlings to farmers? And how much do you charge?
We have 2 ways on how our products reach farmers. The farmers that we deal with directly who buy seedlings from us, especially those high commercial or engaging in big forest establishment. Then we also, our products go through the organizations, NGOs and government institutions that also work with farmers. So that's how our products reach. And the way we charging varies. We have different categories of tree species. We have fruits, which are a bit higher. I don't know which currency I can be able to share this, but the difference, fruits are a bit higher. The timber trees are a bit lower as also compared to fodder trees.
Okay. All right, thanks. You got another question?
Can I ask a question as well, or do you want to go first, Looney?
I want to go. I think I want to go last because I don't have questions. I just have declarative statements.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ezra, for your pitch, and so great to see you again, and to see how you have made some progress, I guess, with your company in the past year. I have a question on your ask, and that's related also to your business model. The $30,000 that you're looking for, what type of instrument are you looking for? Because I guess like for training the farmers, it also sounds a bit like more kind of not-for-profit work, training farmers, for example. So are you looking for loans or looking for grant funders, or are you looking for equity investors? So just to understand what you're looking for.
What we are looking for equity or grant, because as you see, when it comes to capacity building or as supporting farmers to be able to raise money from non-wood forestry products, it may not be a direct benefit, but on the other hand, it's a benefit to us because it's we raise our seeds from farmers whom we train, and they can be able to collect and process. Then they can sell to us. Then we also bulk them to sell to institutions.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Ezra. So I just want to make the audience understand the Land Accelerator. We work on a demo day pitch or the end of the program. We don't work on the slide decks like we're seeing here. So I've never seen Ezra's slide deck, so it's good. This is a pretty common first draft slide deck. What I do in the program that I run in Seattle is we'll iterate this 40 more times before we'll call it done. So I would call this a good first draft. Ezra, here's the issues that I saw. One that everybody does that drives me crazy is everybody starts with, "Hi, my name is Ezra, and I'm going to tell you about the name of company." And I can tell you for real, it sounds rude. A lot of these comments sound rude, but they're realistic. The typical investor audience doesn't care who you are until they care what you're doing. So I like to tell people to introduce themselves way later. Introduce yourself with the team. The first thing you should do when you have the opportunity to pitch in front of an investor is to wow them, is to say something that makes them want to hear the pitch. Because as Maria said, she sees 300 a year. I see like 10,000 a year. And so you gotta really do something at the beginning that makes me want to see even 3 slides in. Otherwise, I'm not going to go and look 3 slides in. So your pitch needs to start with something like, "The forests in Uganda are in peril," with the pictures of the forest being cut down, right? And even something stronger than that, but that's all I could come up with in 30 seconds. It's got to start with the real big problem. The problem in Uganda is not farmers, right? You don't start with farmers, you start with the problem. And the problem here is that we're losing the forest in Uganda. And you have to explain why we're losing it. And we're not just losing it because of the farming, we're losing it because of the farming and firewood, and you need 3. And the third one I wrote down was urbanization, right? So most likely Kampala is just growing out into the forest and cutting down the forest that way, right? And the other cities as well. You only get 1 problem. You can only have 1 problem. You can't have 2. So you can't talk about the issues of farmers and the issues of forests. You can only talk about one or the other. So your problem is forests. And you have to keep in mind, one thing that's really hard for people to unlearn is that a pitch is not an essay. You were taught how to write an essay in school. Everybody, I've worked with people from around the world, and everybody was taught how to write an essay in school. And that's why you started your pitch with, "Here's how many people are farming in the world, and 70% of the people in Uganda are farmers. And so here's the number of people that is in Uganda." None of that is relevant to your story. That is a great essay. You'll get an A paper in high school on that, and you will fail to get funding if that's how you keep pitching your company, because that's not important. What's important is the forests are being cut down, and that's a problem, and here's why, and here's our solution. And so when you got to your solution slide, you mix together a bunch of things. You mix together a little bit of traction. It said something like 20 or 200,000 trees. But it really just needs to be the solution. We sell seeds and trees. And we sell seeds and trees too, and then you need to tell us who your customers are. You never really did that. It kind of got hinted at later. But we need to know whose problem this is. We know everybody has the problem of deforestation, but we need to know who cares enough to actually do something about it. And so you need to tell us that. You need to tell us what they pay. You also need to tell us, in this case, it sounds like you do a distributed production system, but you didn't really describe that in enough detail. And then get to the team and the financials and the ask at the end. And if you put it in that order, you'll have a much more persuasive pitch deck. And that's all I can do in like 2 minutes, so I'll move on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ezra. I think, we've got the recording of this, so all this wisdom will be available to you afterwards if it was too much to take in now. We really appreciate that. And I did check, and next up we have is Lorna. Lorna, are you able to share your screen with us? Unmute yourself. Let's see. We can hear you, and the slides should be coming soon. It says, yep, there they are. We can see your slides. So I think you could go ahead and start.
Okay. 1 minute. Thank you very much. It's nice to see you all active and alert. And I have just woken up now, and this first, can you see me nicely? Can I close that? Okay, this logo has been courtesy of Dion Foundation, who made us get this nice logo right now. So this is our new nice bright logo. We didn't have a logo at the time when we met. Marjorie, thank you very much. I'd like to tell you a bit about eMoto. And as I just start the story of what's happening, Atieno here, she is a typical woman in the middle. Meet Atieno. She's from Korogocho village, and shortly after her husband has fallen sick, she recently moved into here just to forget her past life. But in the evening, she coughs every night persistently, and of course, the rains here just won't stop. The wood is wet, and she's completely disillusioned, and she doesn't have money to buy charcoal. And even if she had, it's just a little, it's too expensive. So one small tin here would just not even put a meal for her 4 hungry children. Each year in Africa, 1 million people die from pneumonia, respiration illnesses due to indoor air pollution, and that's just from cooking food. I just want to show you here that we have strong data on this. That's the status of Africa. If you can see at the bottom is the brown areas, the dark brown areas. It's mainly Africa and Asia that's suffering from this indoor air pollution problem. Next, my story number 2 is meet Felix. And Felix is a factory worker. He worries, there's water everywhere. But Nairobi has water shortages coming. And especially at this time, the Ministry of Health has been telling them to wash their hands all the time and to make sure that that there's a slowdown of COVID. And I tell you, these people, there's no flowing water. Not even the buckets that have remained there is contaminated. So among the middle class people, they have a little tap running water, but these families don't have anything. And in Kenya, it's confirmed we have corona cases. We have crossed over 1,000 known cases, and 66 more have tested today. That's the highest jump we've ever got. So as we speak, we found a solution. We're using alcohol, which is ethanol, to make these wonderful products. We have hand sanitizers, we have multi-sanitizers, and we are also using some to make this wonderful fire. Can you see the fire? We have this beautiful fire which is going on for people to cook. It is actually a bioethanol fire, and it's a wonderful product because you don't need to have wet wood, and it is zero emission, and it's completely safe. Nobody needs to, that's all. There's no smoke, it is clean and very, just affordable. So this is eMoto Limited. eMoto Limited has a great solution, and we have already been reinventing how to improve the lives of the underserved in these places. We are training communities to bring life-saving products and health products and health services to people at the doorstep. Profits are plowed back, and these people can actually make profits by themselves, so they don't have to be on our payroll. So we have about 200 of these who are going around the community, and basically they're also identifying eco groups who can help us registered, who can do river restoration. So each household is spending about $5 a month. And basically they help us to distribute about 10,000 liters of this product, and it's been worth about $90,000. This is yielded, we yielded profits of about 22,500. And currently we are addressing 3,000 homes from the last 6 months, and we're targeting about 10,000 more homes. Most of the cash is reinvented for social research and operations and supplies. And basically 25% is what our margins are. The other thing is that we have some channels. We're going door to door, education and sensitizing outreach. These are the community workers. They actually go door to door, and they're foot soldiers, and they live among the community. So they actually can talk and can explain these things, and can actually take orders. So after all this, we buy supplies and we return it back. Our taxes are paid, and we have operational budgets. When it's met, then we have profits towards the environment. And of course, we're championing, or we're being champions of sustainability. These are groups in action. We actually have about 10 groups where 20 members each are actually distributing in the community, and we give them a target of 1 kilometer stretch along the rivers. And this is wonderful because this is what we're seeing along the new rivers, new riverside parks coming up, and community restoration efforts are going on. So we have already 10 kilometers going on, and the youths have also a lot of activity going on along the rivers. So our ask, we are asking for $25,000, and basically it is to help us move on to the next rain period, because we are in rains right now, and it's to help the teams meet the targets so that they move faster into the next for next year. And basically our budget is for the 10 groups. We want to give them, as we have always, $2,000, of which they plow back $200, and basically they take the stocks up on order. They take orders, they come and get stocks from us, and they take it down. And then they also make gabions, barriers, and they also plant trees and also grasses like bamboo, moringa, and we give them a target of about 500 trees each season. They also make organic fertilizers from the waste material. And riverbed cleansing actions are now 1 kilometer each group. So our output, basically we want a back-to-back action group, but if we don't get the $25, we'll waste another 6 months. And we hope to make some educational brochures to make their work a little easier. And we will be doing wall art to basically describe how the sanitizers can be used, so that each one of them can have one of these and make them actually clean up their hands and know how to use the hand sanitizer properly. We also hope to have some radio adverts and a documentary for our work, and that will cost us about $5,000 out of the 25. And I wish to thank you for giving me a chance, and I'm very excited, and every day I'm running to do work. So I always keep my scarf, because we go out into the community and it's a lot of pollution out there. Thank you. I'm back.
Thank you as well. So do we have questions about the business at this time?
Amanda, I have some feedback for Lorna.
That would be great.
Happy to do that after the questions.
Yes. Thank you.
Me too. No questions, only feedback.
Thank you.
All right, we can go straight to feedback. That would be great.
Thanks, Amanda. Lorna, thank you very much for the pitch. I like the way that you started with the problem and explaining how the problem of sort of bad fuel, lack of access to efficient cook stoves, lack of access to sanitizers, water, affects an individual. So that got my attention. I got a little bit lost around the ask. So it sounds like the ask was relating to community cleanup, which wasn't linked to the problem that you started off with. So my feedback would be to make sure that what you're asking the investor for is connected to the problem that you're solving.
Okay. Thank you. Can I say something? I think my ask is in two areas. It's in the community cleanup, But we also have the other side, which keeps our operations up and running, because we need supplies so that we then can support the communities. So maybe, yes, we can actually work on a cleaner ask, because it is in two sections. Yes, I did see that maybe I should have started with in terms of the commercial part of it, and then gone to the community cleanup part of it, the social part of it. But thank you.
I'll go next so that it doesn't sound like we're always so harsh. I'll let Maria finish on the higher note. So yeah, I thought when you got to the problem, it was good, but you didn't start there actually. You started talking about your logo, which is a nice little thank you to the Land Accelerator, but it's an inside thing that this crowd and no other investors would care about. And then the next thing you said was, I'd like to tell you the story of Emoto, which is, again, it's a throwaway line. It doesn't make us want to hear the story of Emoto. It makes us want to, it makes us think that you're not going to ever get to the problem. And then you got to Atenyo, I don't know how to pronounce that, and her issue, but you didn't set up and tell us what problem you were actually solving while you were talking about this customer. And so I happen to know what it is because I've met you before, but for the rest of the audience, they didn't know why we were meeting her. They didn't know why the cough was bad. They didn't know why not being able to buy charcoal was bad. Like, we need to know the problem first. And so it really needs to start off, in this case right now with this pitch, is there's two problems I need to tell you about today. The first problem is that women or children are dying from cooking, and show that map. And you can go on a little bit more than that, but that's the key piece. And then second, there's a pandemic and there's no running water for people to wash their hands. And we can solve both of those problems with one solution, and then explain what the solution is and how it's made. I didn't hear the word sugarcane show up. Maybe I was taking notes. And then we need to hear, what it is and how people buy it, and then build out the part of the pitch that talks about this network of resellers. Because you kind of talked about how we recycled profits before you ever talked about what people buy or who we're selling it or why people are buying it. We also missed, there was no slide that I saw that just showed, how long you've been doing this. We want proof as investors. We want proof that you know what you're doing. And the easiest way to show us proof is to say, we founded this company in 2015, and it had this small amount of revenue back then. And we sold 10 liters back then. Then it was 50 liters here, and then 100, and then 200, and 1,000. So just show progress along the years, right? As a simple table or a graph. And that makes us instantly understand that you know what you're doing, that customers care, that maybe we missed something in the pitch, but that really doesn't matter. We can dig into that because this company works. And then I had the same issue on the ask. It's like, I couldn't read anything on that page. It was literally too small for me to read any text. You need a big number at the top, 3 or 4 bullets on what you need to do with that amount of money. And if there is a second whole piece of story about all this community and how this one company supports all this other stuff, that's nice. You need to summarize that in 3 words and not talk about it. Because as soon as you go off on this other tangent, talking about all these other projects, the first thing that comes to investors' minds is, oh, this is one of those entrepreneurs that can't stay focused, that she's trying to do too many things. And I have 400 more choices. I'm going to go pick one who's just doing one company. It's much easier for me to do that.
Okay, thank you.
You don't have to be defensive on anything. This is just how it goes.
It's fine. Yeah, we can hear from Maria because we need to be moving as well. So if Maria has anything to add.
Yeah, just very quickly, just wanted to say, like, I'm always so impressed to see you guys pitching, and it makes me also feel humble. And now I'm like providing feedback, and yeah, who am I to provide feedback? But it's only to help you to actually improve your pitch, of course. But for you, yeah, I think it's impressive how you you already did so many things at the same time, and now you're actually jumping in on this new strange dynamic, of course, the COVID dynamics. I think it's impressive to see you using your community structure that you already have in place to actually jump on that as well. And I guess that could help also in your pitch to actually, I think it's linked to what Looney said, like the history of the company, linking it to your actual ask today. And I think you have so much information to share that I also felt like, okay, 1 kilometer each group, what is it? So you're just digesting it, and then you already went to the next thing. And I think your land restoration impact side can be maybe your end line, because that is impressive. And that's the reason why we're here for today. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Adamu now to, let me see, I'm going to pin his video, and I think I will be sharing his slides. So let me pull them up. But I think he's going to mostly do a story, actually. So hold on 1 second. And
Okay. Merci Amanda. Bonjour
yeah,
tout le monde.
you may start.
I'm gonna tell you the story of Mala.
Okay, good.
This is the story of Mala. In 2016, Mala was arrested. His crime, the abusive and illegal cutting down of acacia trees, and this tree is protected by the law of Niger. Unfortunately, like Mala, other Nigerians are cutting down trees more than 10,000 per year, and this is negatively impacted the environment. One thing is sure, if Mala would have known the economic and environmental value of the acacia tree, he would never have been in prison, and he will be producing and selling gum arabic from acacia tree, and this will have helped his wife and his daughter improve on their finance, and his family will not be in the financial crisis. Gum arabic is a natural emulsifier and stabilizer, and surely without it, it will not talking about free sugar, chewing gum, mascara for women, and Coca-Cola. My name is Adamu Ali Zubairu, CEO of ADAX, President of the National Association of Explorer and focal point of private sector of gum arabic in Niger. In 2016, more than 2,300 women and young, including Mala wives, were mobilized, sensitized, and training for the production and marketing of gum arabic. As a result, our export capacity has quadrupled, more than 80 tons in 2019, compared to only 11 tons in 2016. And almost 200 hectares of land have been saved from illegal cutting down, and it was also enabled more than 2,000 women farmers to make turnover of more than 300,000 US dollars. We are mobilizing 250,000 US dollars, and this will be injected in capacity building and working capital, and that will allow us to export 200 tons in 2022 for projected turnover of 500,000 US dollars. Last year, Mala was released on bail, thanks to his wife's additional income generated by the sale of gum arabic. When I visit Mala this year, I found him selecting acacia seeds, and I asked him what he will do with it. And he said, "Tree necessary to ask the land forgiveness and save the future of this world in my turn." I told him it will not be easy. So he looked me in the eye and said, "We will win when we believe. Join me." I ask you the same thing today. Join us in saving the future of this world.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, Adamu. Is that exactly the same as the demo day talk, or is it slightly longer? Did you add some stuff in there?
Let me introduce Will, who's going to help do translation for us a little bit.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
It sounded familiar.
Will, could you say that? Could you say that to Adamu for us?
Adam, bonjour Adam. Est-ce que c'est les
Bonjour.
questions étaient exactement la même que pendant le démo day, pendant l'accélérateur, ou c'était un peu différent?
Non, c'était un peu différent.
It was a little bit different.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say that this is a great example of what we did at this Land Accelerator. We put together a story. And so it started out, it felt like a story. It ended, it felt like a story. There was some added stuff in the middle to stretch it, to put in some details. We didn't have time, but this was close to a perfect pitch.
L'Uni a dit que c'était un grand pitch et c'était presque exactement ce que le Land Accelerator a appris, a enseigné les entrepreneurs pendant l'accélérateur. Et l'Uni veut vous féliciter pour votre effort et c'était très bien, très bien.
Okay, I think maybe his computer or phone might be frozen. I think that it would be best if anybody has more feedback, they can provide it to us via email, and we can get it to him through we can translate it. But we want to really say thank you for pitching that today. And now we're going to Fran. Fran, if you can turn on your video and then pull up your screen. Yes, very great. All right. We can see your slides. If you just put them into presentation mode, it will be much larger for everybody.
Okay, I'm trying.
No problem. Take your time. It's gonna happen.
Sorry about that, Amanda. All my neighbors are working at home, and my internet went down as soon as 9 o'clock rolled around.
Is that okay?
No, we don't see your slides. We were seeing them before. Can you try and share one more time?
Okay, let me try.
Yes, and then just make it full screen. Perfect.
Is it full?
Yes, it's great.
Okay. Now, so many of our small-scale farmers and some of the large ones in Kenya have been making very huge losses due to soil infertility. And this has forced so many people to abandon their land and move to the urban centers looking for jobs. What we have done is COFA. In addition to the problem of yield, we have had a huge problem with the locusts, the COVID-19, and also floods this year that have affected so much of the farms. So many of the small-scale farmers are suffering with their crops being washed away. What we've done as a company is that we have focused on repairing their soils or handling the reversing of acidity to increase productivity of these farms. We've created a compost from vegetative waste, which we've turned to the farmers in their groups and strategic partners, where these strategic partners are mostly the people who are exporting, who have farmers already in their database, and they are looking for someone to help their farmers increase production. This, in the long run, increases productivity for everyone in the value chain. When you compare what the farmers have been doing before with when they use our products in their fields, we notice that the cost of production is slightly lower when they adopt COFA products. but the yields are significantly very high, increasing their earnings with almost over 70% in an acre. We directly contribute to the food security in Kenya, and we create so many jobs for the youth and women through the farmers' activities. We also clean the environment since we turn the vegetative waste, and we also make sure that the food that goes to the market is safer and cleaner. We use both the bulk distribution through the farmer cooperative societies, but we also have small outlets of our own, and we deal with a few large-scale farmers from last year. We supply to them direct. We have a team where me, Francisca, I'm the CEO and founder, and we also have a technical team that has worked with us on creating all these products from the country and some who are from the international system. We also have one who is an investor who also joined our team. What we are looking for is that we would like to go into a few more counties in the country and increase our staff and also increase our production capacity to meet the demand of what will come in. So far, we have trained over 150,000 small-scale farmers on soil. Also, we have repaired about 12,000 acres, and we've gotten our first angel investor. Our sales have been growing, even if not very huge, but still positively growing. From 2017, you can see the curve still going up, and we are hoping that even this year, even with the pandemic and the fronts, we hope to hit $55,000 in 2020. What we are looking for is 160,000 to be able to increase our market entry so that many more people get to know what we are doing, and also to increase our production capacity for the compost and be able to serve the same farmers. We have a few partners who have joined us and have seen our work getting easier, because the people who are having farmers already and their farmers have not been optimizing their production, it makes our work easier to work with them and serve the farmers with our products. And this has benefited both the farmers and the buyer, and also us as COFA. And thank you very much. And we are looking for every person to form and join COFA and help work with the Kenyan farmers. Hello?
Hi, can I ask a question?
Yes.
All right, so the way you pitch it, it's a nice pitch, but the way you pitch it, it's magic pixie dust. So what is it? What do you actually sell? What does it do?
We sell the compost and the soil conditioners to the farmers to be able to rectify their soils, reversing acidity, increasing the moisture retention, and making sure that even if they plant their trees, the trees can survive, or whatever crop that the farmers choose.
Yeah, so I think this might be this might be one of those cases where you know farming, but the investors don't necessarily know all the details of farming. I don't know what a soil conditioner is. I know what a hair conditioner is, but not a soil conditioner. You don't have to explain it right here, but understand that you have to you need, when you're pitching, to understand the knowledge of your audience and to speak to their level of knowledge. And so I would just, in your pitch, assume they don't know what that is, and you have to take a half a minute to explain it.
Okay, thank you. Hello.
Hi, friend.
Yes.
Thank you for a nice pitch. I found it quite clear, to be honest. So I like the triple win ending, and also got a feeling of the why and the how and the what. So yeah, just compliments for your pitch.
Okay.
Fran, I enjoyed the pitch.
Yes.
You got my attention, and I understood what you're doing and how you're doing it. So well done. There is one question.
Thank you very much. Okay.
which is about where this compost comes from and this soil conditioner. How do you actually make it? I'm assuming there's some inputs that you need for it.
Yes, we collect all the vegetative waste from the open market and also from processors of fresh produce, especially the exporters. So we turn all this vegetative waste into a very good compost. And then we add the other product that boosts the moisture retention in soil and increase the humus. So we sell it directly to the farmers.
So maybe that's connected to what Luni was saying, is just some explanation about the product and how it's made. But otherwise it was great.
Yes. Thank you very much.
So thanks everybody for the feedback on that. We have now, if I need to mute Francesca, we've now heard from our four companies that were pitching today. And I want to thank everybody also for joining us. I wanted to ask the panelists now if we could share maybe just a few overviews from the pitches they've seen today, and just some maybe final words of encouragement for the people who are on this webinar right now as they go forward with their businesses through what I think is a very difficult time, where a lot of the companies that we are focusing on are seeing huge shifts in supply chains and demand right now. If there's any kind of overall thoughts about these pitches, and then also maybe about the market as they have been seeing, and some tips going forward. I think that we could just make this a little more generic on who goes first, or maybe you guys will have a conversation. Sapna?
Yes. Amanda, one of the things that I'm seeing when I'm having pitches, entrepreneurs pitch to me, is a real sort of time dedicated to what they're doing because of COVID-19. So what are they changing in their business? How are they coping? How are they adapting? How are they using this to their advantage? And I think Lorna started talking about it with the hand sanitizer, but just highlight it. And I think that is a demonstration to investors around adaptability, ability to take on challenges, and really make something out of what you've been given.
Yeah, I'll concur with that. And it's also just a way to prove you are running a great company and have a great team. So if your answer is we shut down, that's a vastly different answer from, well, we were doing this and now we're doing that because of these changes that we're seeing. Just makes us say, oh, well, this is a great team this is a great team we need to know more information about.
Exactly.
And in general, this is what I see from these pitches and other pitches is this such a strong desire by the entrepreneurs to every 3 minutes. We don't want to hear everything in 3 or 4 minutes. We just want to hear enough information from you to get excited to then ask you more questions. The purpose of this style of pitch, the short pitch, is to start a conversation with the investor or the partner or whoever the audience is. So just provide just enough information to make them want to do that, and leave out the things that, leave out little tiny bits so that you know what the next questions are going to be. Don't leave out your business model. Don't leave out the team. But you don't have to tell us every last detail of your business.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to the COVID comments. I fully agree with Safna and Luni, and I guess like Safna said, like to see opportunities there, or to at least say how you're coping with it. If a company says, oh, we're still doing the same, that is definitely a red flag for us. I guess you can also be quite critical or ask funders their strategy towards this situation as well, because there are a lot of investors in a kind of freeze right now. And I guess like we all need investors and funders also to keep doing what they're doing, especially now. So I guess you can also fire the same question to them, like we are doing to you now. And in general, I think it's really like maybe applying for pitch events that you don't like that much, but just to test your pitch, it's always helpful as well, because I can see you guys did a great job in this 1 year, and you're really improving. So compliments to all of you.
So I think with that, unless there's any other kinds of farewell notes, I think we can say this was really great. What we're going to do from now on, not from now on, but from going forward with the Land Accelerator, we do have rolling applications open for our Africa program, and we're hoping to hold that in early 2021. And like I said, we will soon be announcing our 15 company cohort from South Asia. So we'll be sharing that with the entire community here, because I can tell you from speaking with everybody in South Asia that they're very excited for the opportunity to join this network that we've already kind of started with entrepreneurs in Africa. And so I think there will be a lot of really nice collaboration going on. And we are very excited about bringing this to Latin America as well. We're hoping to do that in February 2021 in conjunction with what we have called the 20 by 20 initiative, which is a group of, I believe, 18, but maybe 21 countries in Latin America that are making commitments to reforestation. So we think it's going to be an amazing year for land restoration, and we hope everyone is able to keep moving forward and make those pivots and serve the communities, because as we all know, we need this now more than ever. So thank you guys so much. The recordings and the pitch decks will be listed on our website, and we'll be sending you a link within 1 day. Oh, I think everybody's on mute, so sorry about that. But thank you all, and you guys have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you, Amanda.